Okay, so yeah, let's begin.
Okay, so you before you, I need to say a few words about you, Jen and Bob. Well, we have the privilege to have Bob as our English language fellow for a year, and we are lucky that he will be with us hopefully next year as well, if he's still happy with us at Ege. um, he had amazing session with us previously, and I know Bob personally. I've listened to him presenting several times, and I enjoyed every second of his presentations. So here he is again. Thank you very much, John and Bob. It's an honor for us to have you with us
Thank
as a fellow.
you very much for that warm
Over to
introduction, as always. I'm going to start. So, I sent out a link in the chat if you guys can sign up for Google Classroom. People will be joining in, so I'll send out this link again when we start talking. But let me share my screen and move everything around. So, I have a very complicated setup today. So, I'm going to need your patience. My computer might explode. Usually happens. Did it explode yet? I can't find you guys. Hold on. Uh-oh. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where your screen is. That's interesting. Let me just do something. Zoom meeting. It has disappeared. This has never happened before. Oh, maybe I. No. No, it's not there. It's not in Istanbul. All right. So let's get started. My presentation is called Increasing Teachers' Expectations, Reducing Biases, and Scaffolding to Increase Student Achievement. That's a long, long mouthful of a title. I'm just going to call this How Teachers' Expectations Impact Student Achievement. Still very long. My name is Bob Wynn. I come from the United States, from California. I'm currently teaching at Ege University. And this is the sixth Learning and Teaching Talks, which I've learned so much from every presenter that's been involved. I'm just going to put this out there. This is a photographic image consent. I'm going to be making videos of this and using it on different social media platforms. So if you have an issue with this, please let me know in the chat. And before we begin, so I wanted you guys to sign up for this Google Classroom. Okay. I will send materials after the presentation. I'm also going to be sending some assignments so that you can see them during the class. Just kind of give you like a feel for what this platform can do. And I'm going to send that link again in the chat that does not work. Nothing. Uh-oh. Oh, there I am. I see. I found my window. There's like 20,000 things open on my computer. This is pretty normal. All right. Did I send it again? There we go. Let's just press that again. So sign up for this. Let's see if anybody's able to do that. So here we are, this lovely window. Oh yeah, wow, you guys are fast. I know my former student, Dennis, knows how to use Google Classroom. We use that for a speaking club as well. All right. So wonderful. I'm going to be using this as a way to motivate participation. I have it handy dandy app as well on my phone. So let's go on. So yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for everyone for attending today's presentation. I'm a little under the weather, but I'll fight through this. There's going to be a lot of participation, and I probably will be going a little bit over time. So I'm going to try to go quickly, but I still want all of your amazing participation. And if I'm ever looking to my right, it means I'm looking at you guys because I got two screens over here. And originally, I made this presentation based on an experience I had visiting a class. And visiting a class where the teacher was just saying the students are not motivated to speak. They're not going to have a lot of participation today. And I said, okay, let's see what happens. And throughout the course of my presentation for 2 hours, students were engaged, talking. And then the teacher came up to me afterwards and said, oh, I guess the problem is us. And to me, that just kind of motivated me to think about what our expectations as teachers, how that influences and impacts our students. And so this is why I made this presentation. Originally, this was face-to-face, and I've tried to convert it to an online platform. So let's see how this works. Kind of my favorite thing in life is how to convert face-to-face activities into online activities. I always love to start with a quote in a TV show that I've been watching lately. When all said and done, what's more important, being loving or being kind? Or being right? Being loving or being right? This is from the great Ted Lasso TV show. If anybody has seen this, this is probably really great professional development / social emotional learning that anybody watches this can kind of start to see. He's kind of like my Patronus at the moment. Yeah, see? Favorite. And the other quote you might have heard is something like, it's better to be kind than to be right. Okay? And it's a common phrase. It's a common quote. We're going to start with a Miro activity. If you've never used Miro before, well, try it out. It's an amazing tool. If you're on your smartphone, you might have to download the app. And I can send you guys a link to do that. I'm going to do that right now. Just throw that in the chat and get back to this. Okay. So Miro, I'm going to send you a link. Lots of links today. So I'll just send you a link to Miro. This is the board that we'll be using. I'm not going to use it in here though. So this is Miro. And if you click on that link and you go into this app, you're going to start seeing all of these things. Okay. And I have my presentation slides on here as well. So let's see what this is all about. So we got 4 people so far. Keep pressing that. Get in there. Even if you're on your smartphone, you can just fly around. You might not be able to interact with anything, but I see people. I'm going to make you guys follow me. So don't fly around. Follow me. We're going to be making a name tag using one of the blue or pink rectangles. So write your name, your institution, and a favorite thing that starts with the first letter of your first name. So for example, my name is Bob. I like bananas. Follow me over here. Okay. So you guys can grab one of these. Okay. You can add your name, your institution, where you belong at the moment. Or you can put the world. I'm going to put my favorite thing as bananas. Oh, you guys are still following me. Sorry. And you can add a picture. So if you have a picture on your phone, on your computer, you can add those together. Somebody has grabbed my thing. It's a little chaotic, but I love it. So I want you guys to write your names. Okay. And if you want, somebody's tagged my thing. Oh. I'm going to ungroup you. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to put my face here. And we can group things together. Okay. And there's a little handy dandy tutorial over here. If you guys want to see how to group things, just hold shift, combine those 2 items. I'm going to have you guys unfollow me. Stop followers. Yeah. There we go. And here we go. I have my name tag. We're going to be using this in the next activity. So I see people, Esra's filled out one. Find a picture on your phone. And sometimes you're going to be like behind somebody. So you can right click, you can press bring to front, which is just kind of make you go over something just in case you need to do that. So yeah, grab a color, pink, blue, whichever is your favorite, whichever you prefer at this moment, and make your name tag. You can just drag in a picture onto your screen. So there's Esra. Wonderful. Adding an image. If you click 2 things together and hold down shift, you can make a group out of something. I'm not going to do that to Saul. Thanks for joining us again. I know you were one of Burak's colleagues from TESOL, Portland, right? I wish I could have gone. But yeah, so you got tutorials. Just grab one of these. If you guys can just grab it and move it out of the way to let other people grab something. I'm going to move you. I'm sorry. There you go, Fatma. So yeah, I have a comment someone said. Okay. You don't need to comment. Just grab one of your name tags and practice moving it around so you can drag it. Somebody drew a little thing here. What is that? That's amazing. Oh, I get it. Somebody annotated my screen. How do you turn off annotations? It's going to follow me. Annotation. Oh, okay, here it is. Who can share? Only me. How do I clear the whiteboard? No. Anyways, that line will be with us forever. Okay, so this is Miro. It's a tool that I use for whiteboards in my classroom. I use it to share my book. I can write on the screen. I can use this pen tool. I can highlight things. I can add text. I can add these shapes. I can add in any screenshots from my computer. I've used it initially as a way for me to do what? To do brainstorming for my classrooms. And then that turned into being able to present to my students. So yeah, you can rotate things around. There's lots of things you can do. All right. So there's going to be a thing where I'm going to ask you to either switch back and forth between these. So if you guys can follow me, just make sure you can bring your name tags with you. I'm going to share the next part of our presentation. Jale Jaguar is here. Great. I don't know how to remove that. That's amazing. The chaos. Okay. We're going to do this activity. It's called choose sides. Okay. And if you've been in one of my speaking clubs, we've done this before. We just never have done this online. So you're going to take a stance on a statement. Okay. I'm going to put up a statement. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring this to the back for everybody. There we go. Now we can see our stuff. Okay. I'm going to read out a statement. Everyone grab your name tag. Move to the right here. I'll show a question on the Miro board. Move your name tag to answer the question. Okay. I'll ask people for their opinions. And be ready to turn on your microphones if you guys are ready. So I'm going to press this. So everybody grab your name tag. I'm going to do the same. Somebody added I'm going to delete that line. Okay, I'm going to put mine here for now. Okay. So if you're watching the Miro board, wonderful. You can still hear my voice. You might have to just unmute your mic if I asked you to. Okay, so the first question is, cats are better than dogs. It's not a question, it's a statement. So if you agree, then move your piece over here. Cats are the coolest. Or dogs rule. This is just a little practice session. So I think people are still working, and that's wonderful. And once you're ready to move over, then move over here. I'm going to go with cats. And I have everybody's names. Somebody added a star. Wonderful. Who's that? Sibel, freelancer. Of course. Freelancers making stars out of squares. That's what I like to see in my classes. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of creativity. No, a lot of creativity. So we have a few questions we're going to go through. So everybody, come on. I'm corralling you over here. Grab your thing. There's so much fun. There's just people wandering. Okay. I'm going to press the button to bring you over here. So grab your things. Normally, whoops. Okay. So yeah, grab your name tags. Okay. If you have your picture on it, wonderful. Pull it over here. I'm going to make sure that everybody's is visible. So if you like cats, then put your name tag on the left. And if you like dogs, go on the right. I'm going to erase this arrow because we don't need it. If that was your arrow, I'm sorry. a little bit of chaos. Okay, so lots of people liking cats. If you're still working, great. This one has no name. So yeah, there's a little bit of scaffolding that is involved in this. Mert says he likes cats. Sibel is with dogs over here. Anybody else? Someone's in the middle? There is no middle, guys. Okay? Kind of sometimes in life you just have to choose sides. Okay? You're still kind of floating in the middle, visiting researcher. Okay? And that's fine. All right. Everybody, are you ready? Okay. So if you're not, that's fine. And if you still need to learn how to group or ungroup, it's hold down shift, I think, and then you can click the group object, so that moves together. All right, so I'm gonna ask somebody to speak today. Right now, I like the color pink, so I'm just gonna choose only students that like pink. So Jalaljan, are you there? Why do you like cats? You can turn on your mic. You don't have to. You can write it in the chat box. It's a visually stimulating activity. How do I get rid of the whiteboard stuff? So interesting. I did this before. All right, I like cats because they're friendly animals compared to others. Okay, I agree. Sometimes cats can be friendly, sometimes not so much. Okay. Shebna is lost. Where are you? So yeah, grab your name tag that you made over here. Okay, if you have your name tag, and bring it with you. So you're just gonna drag it over to the right. Okay, so sincere, great. And then you're gonna put something like your name.
Lost my name tag.
Okay, well you can make a new one. They're free. I'm not charging for name tags today. There's plenty to go around.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to make one out of anything, that's fine. Let's be careful with lines, guys. Oh yeah, this one's a practice one. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Let's ask somebody. Pink again, because that's my favorite color today. Lale, what about you? Why do you like cats? And you like coffee. You're supposed to use the first letter of your name, okay, for the things that you like. So Sinam.
Oh,
says,
okay.
It's okay. Sinam says sincere
Lost,
people.
yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay, why do I like cats?
Yeah.
Because you can never guess what they're gonna do. So I like that.
Okay, and does that
Yeah.
represent you
cannot
too?
control them.
Is that like based on your own character, your own nature?
No.
No,
I'm just predictable most time.
Yeah.
Mostly.
So sometimes we're attracted to the opposite things in
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I believe so.
We need a little chaos in our life, just like this activity.
Yeah.
Okay. So great. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna change the slide. Okay. And the next question is, I like to turn on my camera during Zoom calls. Okay. And on the left, yes, I want to be active, or I'm gonna move you guys. Or no, thanks. I like to hide. So you can always make yours bigger if you want, so I can read them. Lots of things. Okay, so I want to be active on the left. Okay, and no thanks. I like to hide. Okay, so I like people that participate, so I'm going to choose people who have added pictures into theirs or have done creative things. So Esra, what about you? Why do you turn on your Zoom camera during calls?
Well, I'd like to see people when I talk. I mean, normally when I'm talking face to face, I look at their face, their eyes, I mime and do gestures, head gestures. I like it. Mm-hmm. It feels to be heard. So I would like to have a similar feeling when I'm talking to my students. I'd like to see them and I'd like them to see me so that we can create a kind of rapport, if you call it. I mean, without seeing you, they can't really connect with you, I think.
Right. And And I think even over online, eye contact, hearing somebody's voice, facial expressions creates this connection, this oxytocin bond.
Yes, exactly.
Right? I'm going to choose somebody on this side who did something a little creative because I like creative people. Let's see. Pinar, what about you? Pinar Genghis? Why do you like to not turn on your Zoom call camera? You can do it in the chat. You can find your lost name tag with the Control F. That's amazing. Pinar, are you there? Turn on your mic. You can write it in the chat. It's all up to you. Okay, I'm going to call somebody else. Turu, are you there from Maramara University? Why don't you like to turn on your cameras? Camera.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Actually, first of all, when I began to attend Zoom meetings, I was very shy.
Yes.
But I overcame those feelings. But now, actually, it's because of technical reasons and because of my PC camera.
Yeah.
I think, it feels weird to be not seen and not seen clearly. So it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Maybe if I used, I don't know, MacBook or something like that, it would be better. But yeah, my computer is a bit trash, so that's why.
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest concerns, issues, especially for our students, is lack of technological resources. And I'm kind of surprised after 3 years that there isn't just better things available for us to. But yeah, that's unfortunate. And thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We're going to move to the next question or the next statement. This is number 3. Teachers' pets are great, and I tell them. So this is kind of more for the teachers out there. And make sure you choose a side. Okay, so I'm not in the teacher's pet club. Maybe I just didn't like teacher's pets.
Oh, what do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean by pet? Real pet?
No, like a teacher's pet is somebody
Favorite
who's your
student?
favorite student. That's that term that we used.
Do we call that? Oh, I didn't know it.
Yeah. In the United States especially, we say, if you're a teacher's pet, it's kind of like a bad connotation. It means that you're like,
okay.
The word with the nose, kissing something. To your teacher, kind of to get like favoritism. But as a teacher, do you like this? Do you praise them? Do you show them how much you love them? Or no, do you not show them and just kind of ignore it? I'm going to look for people who have things that I like as well. Oh yeah, there we go. Things that I like only. I'm the teacher. I get to choose. Okay, so let's ask somebody. Let's ask about the yeses first. I like sincere people. So, wait, there she goes. She's moving. Teacher's pets are great, and I tell them. Okay, and a teacher's pet is that student that's like, yes, Mr. Bob. Yes, Mr. Bob. I'll help you. I'll do anything. There's no middle though. Okay, so you guys got to choose a side. I'm gonna just kind of slide you over. So Esra, no middle. You got to take a side. Okay, Sina, I like sincere people, so I'm going to choose you. And you're using pink.
Oh, okay, yes, I'm using pink. Well, I try not to show. I was going to be next to Esra, just in the middle, because whatever we do, I think we try to hide that we do not separate the ones that we love the most, but it's just, it's the body language, it's the gesture, the way we talk to them. I don't know, but I try not to show favoritism.
Yeah. And, I think for me also, I have favorite students. There's always that's just like human nature. But what I think is, yeah, how do you show it? Let's ask somebody on this side, using pink, using something that I like. Anybody pink over here? Cats. I like strawberries. You're not pink, but that's fine. Siba, what about you?
Hey,
Hi.
I love strawberries as well.
Good. Why? Why?
Why not?
Why not? I mean, not strawberries. Students, the other S word.
No, I know. Well, I show my love not only in classroom. This is general me, I mean. I don't think this is something negative. And especially with the Turkish learners, they're quite emotional. Right. That's why rapport is quite important with them. And if you observe me teaching, you cannot understand if I don't like somebody, but you definitely understand if I like a person or a class as a group.
Right.
Right. And it's a two-way traffic.
It is.
So you give and you take.
Right.
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 So that's why I don't think this is something very negative.
Okay. I'm not going to comment on anything negative or positive at this moment. So let's move on. Thank you so much for sharing, Sibel and Sinem. I'm going to click on to the next, number 4. Hopefully we have time to finish all these. Anyone can master any skill if they try hard enough. Do you think, give me 10,000 hours and I can do it? Or, not everyone has the talent to do some things. I'm going to fly over here. This is my belief. I'm going to try to figure out how to clear the annotations. Oh, wait, I know. No. It's so weird. No. So fly around. Not everyone has the talent or 10,000 hours plus other things. You can't just do 10,000 hours sitting on top of a guitar. Some people. Osmosis. Okay. So what's my next? What is my next? I'm going to choose I'm going to choose participants who have kind of adjusted theirs, make them look interesting. Shable, what about you? Why do you think? Give me 10,000 hours and I can do it.
Right. I believe if you try hard enough, you can do anything you want.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree
Just
with
simple as that.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Pinar. Hi.
Okay, try me again. Thank you for your good words.
Yes, for the
Thank
creative.
You. I'm trying hard, really.
I know. Everybody's trying hard
you.
today. Yeah, this is like
Thank
new.
You.
Scaffolding
this
today.
This is very interesting to me. Thank you.
Great. Me too.
You're great. You're great.
Thank you. Keep going. Okay, what do you think? Why do you think no? Not everyone has the talent to do the same things. Pinar.
I can't answer this question. I don't know.
I mean, just no judgments here. Okay, we're just throwing out our ideas. This is a feeling that you have. You might see this in your daily life as an experience, and so yeah, maybe that's why you've chosen this side, not the dark side or the force.
I don't know. It's just we are human beings, and we have some characteristic qualities. I don't know the answer again.
There is no right answer. There is no
right answer. Yes,
exactly. I agree with you.
It's just a feeling.
It's a feeling, right?
Of mine. I don't know you.
Yeah, it's a feeling and an experience, right?
Experience, right. Yes, mostly experience.
Right. So based on our experiences or other people's experience around us, we might have these ideas, these intuitions, things like that. Cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to the next one. We got to move because I got a lot to talk about still. I hope you guys have a lot of free time. Number 5, I can accurately judge my students' abilities after a few classes. Yes, I can figure out their strengths and weaknesses like that. Or no, it takes me some time to figure it out. What about you? Don't be in the middle. Okay, so grab your thing, make it fun, make it interesting, fly around. I don't know why you guys are connected. That's really cute, though. Maybe you're bonded. Okay, so once again, I can accurately judge my students' abilities after a few classes. Yes, I can figure out their strengths and weaknesses like that, or it takes me some time. Okay. What am I going to do? Let's see. So my new favorite color is blue, so I'm going to call on people who are using blue. Actually, no. Still go back to that interesting. Nope. You've changed your thing. Nice. Neshe, what about you? Our new favorite is blue. Why do you say, yes, I can figure out their strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, I think after spending some time and a few lessons with the students, I try to observe them, and then I try to understand their strengths and weaknesses, and then try to behave them accordingly.
Okay. And let me ask a question that's not on here. Do you keep those, the evaluation of the student as you go, or is that more flexible?
Oh, it is flexible, of course. I mean, the first 2 or 3 periods, you have got an idea, but then your perception might change. Try not to be so harsh, and try not to be so strict about what you think at the beginning. I think this is what we all should do.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Neshe.
Very well.
Anita's added a cat. I like people that add GIFs. This is a GIF of a cat. Look at that cat. Sorry. It's like little micro worlds. Anita, what do you think? What about you?
About, yes, I need time to figure out where the students are at, because, with having 35 students in a classroom, it takes time. And maybe it's because I haven't figured out what questions to ask them.
Right. And are you in a different context than you were before, or?
No, I was in Turkey before and still in Turkey. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes just changing context, either educational levels, countries, gives you that.
Size. Before, my class size was 20 to 25. Now it's 35, 37.
Right. And that's an issue a lot of us are suffering through at the moment. Thank you very much, Anita, for sharing. And let's go on. Let's make this the last question, because I'm running out of time. I give the same questions to low and high level students. Yes, all students are treated the same. Or no, I give differentiated learning to each student. I'm gonna not. I don't. So grab your name tags, move them around. Do you treat all the students the same based on even, if their levels are low or high? Do you ask the same questions, or do you kind of bring down your level for them? Ooh, there's a different color. I like different colors. I'm going to delete cats. I would leave cats. Some students are shy. That's right. And that's why it takes time to figure out the potential skills they already have. Yeah. So I think that's really important. Kind of seeing students' ability takes time, because they don't express them all in the same way. Unless we have a bias towards certain students, All right. I like this color blue. Wait, you moved. There you go. And I didn't hear from you, right? No, you can't be in the middle. I'm watching you. I'm monitoring you. Okay, Ilkay, what about you? The C.
I was unsure where to go. I was shy to ask for the question again. So
that's okay. I mean, higher level students, you give them the same questions in the classroom, or you come to the what you perceive as a low student, and you say, you make it an easier question. You skip like the more difficult question.
I try
Differentiate.
to, yeah, differentiate.
Okay.
So why should I go?
So you're in the no, you're in the red. So go to the right,
Right. All right. Here I am now. Sorry.
There you go. No, it's okay. Okay. So why?
Why? Because everybody has different kind of way of understanding and communicating ideas. And I try to first understand how my student feels most comfortable.
Yes.
And I try to first make each and every student comfortable. So it means that I cannot treat them like they are the same.
Okay.
So I try to find their way of thinking. Are they shy learners like me, for example? You were trying to open me up in a way. So
great.
You didn't treat me like everybody just asked questions, but you were following me. I would try to do some kind of stuff. It depends on the students, in the classroom. It depends on.
Right. And I think it also depends on that trust, the connections you build, right, over time, that you can start to open up students. But I just met you today. Sometimes a smile.
Certain questions that I can ask for all my students, but of course, if I want to concept check, for example, or try to understand what my students' opinions are, then I rephrase questions sometimes according to my students' level of English as well.
Yes.
So each student needs, I believe, different time and kind of attention.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. People are getting a little creative over here, which is wonderful. Let's see. Fatma, what about you? What do you think?
Hello, it depends on my course. In some practice course, I am a nurse first.
Right.
If it is a practice course, I have to ask the same question because they have to acquire minimum skills.
Right. There's a standard.
So, yes, minimum standards.
Right. So this is where your expectations for those standards are, right?
Some course
students.
like certification,
Okay.
So have to.
Right. Okay. So it depends on the course sometimes. You guys are getting really creative. I love it. But I'm going to skip the last question because I am running out of time. So if you guys can come back to the main screen, I'm going to stop sharing so I can erase what has happened on the screen real quickly. And I'm going to share my screen one more time. And let's come back to Zoom if you guys can. So yeah, we did that. We went through all of these. This is an activity that I've done in the class. It really builds gets students to talk about their opinions. You can do this kind of using PowerPoint. You can just write on the board. One side is always yes, one side is always no. And what it kind of leads to is the ability for students to start talking to each other. If we were in the class, you guys would all be talking to each other first about your opinions, and then we would come back together. And then what I'd probably do at the end of all of this is something like a debate. Okay, so you can start a debate based on one of the questions. If you have a good polling where there's 50-50 almost, say all the students that chose yes or no, you guys are in one team, you're on the other team. So this is a great way to kind of lead into a bigger, more, higher learning activity. All right, we're going to get to kind of more the meat and potatoes here. This is something called the Pygmalion Effect. Okay, and all these questions I asked you were kind of this discovery way of asking you to think about your own beliefs and your own kind of ideas about these subjects. Okay, so the Pygmalion Effect, or how we can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. I have 6 minutes. Let's go. Teachers' expectations influence students' achievements. Okay, this is old, 1968. And just like Elif Hocam mentioned, these ideas that we have are still around. Pedagogy hasn't changed that much. Rosenthal and Jacobson, 1968. Okay, so this can create the self-fulfilling prophecy in which students perform based on teachers' expectations of them. Okay, sometimes when we have high expectations for certain students, they achieve, and when we have low expectations, our body language, our questions we ask sometimes influence the students. Okay, because kind of like that teacher's pet answer. Sometimes when you praise other students, you have to kind of think about the students that are not being praised sometimes, and the effect that it might have on them. Okay, and like somebody said, Turkish students are emotional. We're going to call the positive effect the Galatea effect. Okay, so if you know the story of Pygmalion, Pygmalion creates the statue, Galatea, the positive effects of teachers' high expectations. Okay, and then we have this golem effect. Okay, and this is the story of the golem. The man creates this monster. The negative effects of teachers' low expectations. So look for these little images as we go along. So Galatea, the teachers tend to plan more independent projects and introduce more high-level concepts with high-track classes. Okay, so if you have something like a differentiated class, you might treat different tracks differently. Okay, Golem, low-track classes stress more structured assignment with basic facts and skills. And yeah, once again, somebody mentioned that it depends on the course, of course. Course. I got lost. It's a thing from Ted Lasso. I'm sorry. I get stuck on words now because of that episode. Okay, so low track classes stress more structured assignments with basic facts and skills. Okay, and this could also depend on the structure, the nature of the class itself, such as a certification class. Galatea, teachers with higher expectations. Okay, respond to failure as a challenge, give appropriate feedback. Okay, reteach with support. So they don't just give up. You reteach, add a different support. Don't lower standards. Okay, don't give inappropriate praise. And that means that when a student that didn't answer the question well, we say, "Oh, good job." That kind of praise has been shown in research to not be effective for students. They start to figure out that you're praising them inappropriately. And this is research from Brothy 1983. So if you want to check out all the references, I'll send those at the end. And also connected to this idea of ownership from Beru Hojam's presentation today, I'm going to say this is the idea of this growth mindset for teachers as well, right? The way that we look at our students, do we put on them this idea that these students have a growth mindset? Because we can have that, but we can also give this expectation to other students and our participants. Golem, lower expectation students, right? Low rates of calling on low expectation students, okay? I don't know if you've noticed this, if you've seen this in your own teaching practice, but sometimes we don't like to call on certain students because they don't know the answer. High criticism, showcasing as bad examples, so kind of using like students against other students. This often happens in a class where teachers have a low expectation of the students. Refusal of initiations and requests. And to me, this is just this reflective process right now as teachers to kind of think about your past teaching experience and kind of anything that you've seen or in other observations of other teachers. We ask simpler questions usually when we have lower expectations of students. And there's this nonverbal communication of impatience or negative attitude. I mean, I know I've done this. We all have our bad days. We all have that day where our problematic students, kind of get under our skin. I think it's human nature. I think that there's ways that we can overcome this. Okay. So some of these low expectations, these come from biases, okay? And these can be caused by prior student achievement, right? So we look at a diagnostic test and we have an idea of how the student's going to perform, okay? Physical appearance, attractiveness comes into play sometimes. Sex, gender, race, ethnicity, social class, religion, and other characteristics. And what do you guys think? Is there any other characteristics that you've experienced or seen where you might have a bias towards a student, especially in an English class? Yeah, Esther says if it's constant, it is toxic, right? nobody's perfect. I mean, no teacher can be. We have these moments. I think the idea is to create a practice, a teaching practice, in which we kind of start to get over these things. I'm going to say, from my experience, accents, for the students as well. Yeah. So sometimes we also look at people with accents in a different way. Okay, and we might have a bias towards a student, especially in a speaking class. I've run out of time, but I think
Bob, maybe it can be like, I mean, our students, for a couple of years, I've been observing that. I mean, they're fluent in speaking, but their writing is not as fluent as they sound.
Right.
So sometimes when you hear a student speaking well, you think that, wow, the other skills, reading, writing, they're all good, but I mean, it might be the contrary.
Yeah, and it might not be in a speaking class, but you look at a student's writing and you say, "Oh,
yeah,
like I don't want to, I don't want to grade this,"
Yeah.
And maybe and in an online class, especially when you don't even get to hear the students, this is especially now I'm judging my students solely based on their writing skills, nothing else. I don't have an image of them. I don't have a camera view. Like, there's nothing else to judge them than based on, can they use the article effectively? And I think we need to start thinking about these ideas and how we can help our students. Okay, so I made these handy dandy charts to help you think about these ideas. So let's say we have a student class, and this is the student's ability on this chart from when they begin in the class. If we kind of have our differentiated teachers' expectations, based on our students' performances, this is what we call the differentiated expectation, or the Gollum effect, self-fulfilling prophecy. And our students might just achieve what we have given to them. They might get there. They might go a little bit above. I don't know. But this is how I imagine what the Gollum effect is. All right. So burn that in. If you want to take a screenshot and steal my work, go for it. I haven't copyrighted it yet. The next one, student's ability. And let's say we don't differentiate, but we still kind of keep our expectations low. Okay. We're going to see our students kind of achieve as much as, they're going to get, right? I don't know about this one. Anyways, low expectation, no intervention. Okay. We're not doing anything extra. These are purely speculation from my part. Someday I'll do the research. Okay, the last one, we have students' abilities are the same, right? But let's raise our teachers' expectations, right? And we need to do something about that so that they can all theoretically get to the same expectation. Somewhere in that middle, right? This is what we call high expectation. But somewhere in the middle, what do we do? So how do we get our students here? Okay? How do we get all the low, high, to the same spot, or even maybe above? This is just pure speculation here. But so think about how low expectation, how our students can modeling, guiding, scaffolding. Wow, look at ping pong. You got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go quick. Removing biases, part 1: how to overcome the Pygmalion effect. We have 2 parts to this. Another thing from Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. This is what I always kind of try to think when students act out in classroom, when you have classroom management issues, student who's sleeping in the back. I think sometimes it's more important to just ask questions rather than to say they don't like your class, they're lazy. Sometimes we have to think about what is happening in our students' lives. And if we have 37 students, I know it's impossible to do such things, but just taking that time. Yeah, I mean, you can do it in a way. You can write a note to them, I like to ask questions in my writing class in like the warm-up questions to kind of gauge what the students' kind of general attitude in life is. So there's different ways of gauging that. Yeah, all the time. So let's begin by reflecting on our own conscious and unconscious bias. Sinam Hojam, am I allowed to just keep going? If anybody wants to leave, you can go, but I did not time.
Keep going.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop. I once taught a 2-hour thing that was supposed to be just 1 hour. So go to this Mentimeter. I'm going to ask this question, this prompt. Be honest for a moment. Reflect and share any experiences about biases you have or had towards students. I'm going to click on this Mentimeter. It's one of the open. I'm going to throw it in the chat. Keep going. Yes. Okay. And if anybody needs to leave, you can leave. I think I'm the last session, which is my favorite place to be. I get to steal all of your time, and I get to run away with the show. So be honest for a moment. Reflect and share any experiences about biases you had or have towards students. Okay, it could be in any context. It could be when you first started teaching. It could be also like what you observe when you watch other teachers' classes. And I'm going to share something. I went to observe a class once, and the class was about leadership. And I noticed that the teacher was only choosing the 4 top students out of the entire class. And it was always the students in the front row. And it wasn't that the other students weren't raising their hands, but sometimes for expediency to get through a lesson, we do this. Sometimes, we just like hearing our favorite teacher's pet students say the answers for us, because it kind of reflects our concept of our teaching practice, right? If the student answers right, it reaffirms, it confirms that we're doing the right thing. It's sometimes just this bias that we have. Let's look at what is going on over here. Okay, so we got 1. I'm not going to share yet until we have a few more. I don't like you guys looking at each other's work. You can just write a quick little sentence or no. You're welcome, Shebna. Thank you very much for coming.
Bye.
Bye. You're over there for me. Okay. Got 2. Let's go. Bye, hello. Thank you for coming. Answers. Awesome. Okay. And these are anonymous, so I'm not going to call on anybody. If you want to respond, that's fine. Silent students or non-participating ones during online classes make me angry. Okay, I know that's a common thing. Loud students are hyperactive, right? So that's kind of the opposite. Some of us are introverts. Some of us are extroverts. We have our preference for what our favorite student type is sometimes. I had biases towards male junior students and female students at times. These biases were mostly due to their enthusiasm towards the class, interactions, collaborations, and course respect. I see that, yes. Girls are better in language learning, okay? And yeah, I think about this. Is this, a natural thing? Is this nature or is this nurture? Are girls, women kind of forced into roles, different education, tracks? I mean, we see this in ELT. We see the majority of, teachers are from a certain demographic. If the students came to class and paid attention, I would give them a higher score in a subjective exam than the ones who did not come to class nor paid attention. Yes, I'm going to really focus on this one, silent students or non-participating ones, because I've been teaching an online class, and I've been teaching online for 3 years. I love teaching online, and I stopped doing this. I stopped thinking about what participation means in the classroom. And I started to think about what it means outside of the classroom, using platforms like Google Classroom to give assignments. And the students that don't come to class or don't participate, they're doing their work. And that work is outside class work. This is, short essay writing, short questions that they answer, Padlets that they don't do during the class, but they fill up by the end of the week, and I get 15, 20 different responses. And I think this is something that we have to think about when we think about online education and how it is significantly, fundamentally different from face-to-face classroom. So thank you. Let's see. It has a few more. I'll just read them, and then we'll come back maybe later if we have 3 more hours. I still cannot bear impolite students. I don't, yeah. Sometimes just one look is enough for them, right? I get it. I mean, we want to kind of reflect in our classes, you know, the way that we want to see the world, and we need to model those things as well. But yeah, thank you guys for sharing that. I'm gonna move back to the PowerPoint, so just keep following. Oh, I didn't share that QR code. All right, so I'm gonna just say some certain ways that I've used to reduce biases. If you have any other ones, throw it in the chat. The first thing is be curious, not judgmental, right? So just ask yourself why they could possibly doing something like that. Ask questions, SEL, social emotional learning, right? Vero, thank you so much. Just turn in. What if they don't and just turn in graded task? That's fine. Graded task as in the assessments? I don't know. I mean, the point of education at this point is just to survive. Thank
No,
you.
you just meant the participating students. I mean, okay, they might be silent, but if they do their tasks
Yeah.
after the class, that's fine. I mean, okay, that was me.
Okay.
But yeah, the ones who just care about the attendance and just care about the graded task.
Right. That to me, yeah.
I mean, they make me angry.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And then we talk about this idea of formative assessment, right? We have to practice formative assessments. I tell my students I don't give them grades for these assignments weekly, and they still ask me, I did it late, I'm sorry. And I say, you don't have to do it. It's great that you're motivated. So yeah, there is a differentiation between those types of students still, the ones that want just the assessments, the summative ones versus the formative ones. We have to design our lessons to help with that. Come up with an unbiased participation selector. Okay, I didn't get to model this. I'm sorry. We ran out of time. But on Google Classroom, it allows me to magically choose a student. I can just pick you, and you get popped up, and I can call you randomly. I don't know if you noticed, but I was using like biases during the take a stand activity. I was saying I only want pink because I like pink. I only like creative students that added pictures. Okay. I'm going to say don't only choose students that raise their hands. Okay. I think this is kind of the biggest classroom management problems that I see when I observe teachers is that there's a student always screaming, raising their hand. And that to me is like a form of classroom issue. You know, it's a management issue that you have one student that's like aggressively raising their hand. I like to just go down the list. So alphabetical order, seating orders, etc. You know, just go down the line. Every student gets a chance. If you know, and I have a zero policy with this, zero, whatever. If they don't know the answer, I just say, I'm going to come back to you. I'll ask another question to another student. I'll give them time, you know, because we still have to give students time. Use a shuffled student selector. So something like, you know, this Google Classroom thing. I've also used cards in my class. So I just kind of give cards to students and I just choose one of my other cards in another deck. And then it just chooses students. You can make groupings this way randomly. You know, you can have students that are all number 10s get together. You can have all the students that are, you know, black or red. You can make two teams that way. You can choose individual students. To me, this is just one simple way to do it. And I always say have expectations for all students. Something I always observe when I see classes is the student in the back, the head down, not paying attention. He's not being called on, and he's doing that on purpose. You know, one of the questions I asked in another series for this was, you know, do you like to sit in the back versus sitting in the front? And I think there's a reason why students sit in the back. And I think when you have expectations for all students to participate and you do this as a routine, it changes. Okay. And make these a routine. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm not going to finish. So let's just, the next thing is scaffolding. Okay. So we need scaffolding. This is what Elif Hojam talked about, that we need to assist our students to get there, right? We remove the bias, so our expectations are raised. And now we need to pull those students up so that they're all coming to the same level, okay? We need to think about learners' autonomy. And scaffolding helps teachers challenge to maintain high expectations of all students. Okay, if you design your classes so that students can achieve the outcomes, well, you're doing it for all students, right? And there is that aspect of collaborative learning that Elif Hocam spoke about too, that we need to use collaborative learning, group activities, small and large, in order to help students pull each other up. Crabs in a bucket. So I always remember this, first I do, then we do, then you do. Okay. And I think to me, that's the simplest way to do any kind of scaffolding, right? I tried to model this in the Miro. It got a little bit out of hand. But I usually start off with an easy task on Miro, and then we get into something much bigger. But you guys, man, it's crazy. So on this chart, this is from Gibbons, high challenge, low challenge, high support, low support. In this quadrant, we have boredom zone, right? Low challenge, low support. Students aren't really achieving much higher. In the high challenge, low support, we're getting into the frustration zone. Okay, so when you see your students, they're just like exhausted. They don't know what's going on. There's no clarification checks. You know, they're in the anxiety zone. This is when students start hating the classes as well. High support, low challenge, that's comfort zone. The students are just cruising. That's that low expectation one, right? Where we have constant expectations for our students, but we keep it so low that all the students start to just coast. And this is where we want to be. High support, high challenge. Okay, we have high expectations for our students, but we're providing that scaffolding for students to be able to get into the learning engagement zone, the ZPD. Okay, the zone of proximal development, which is also mentioned by Elif Hocam about Vygotsky. And this is what I call the flow state, I+1. Sinam Hocam. You know. I gotta go. So yeah, collaborative effort with students. I always think about this, like L1 meta-languaging, that's fine when students do it with each other, right? This is why group work, I think, is really effective when you're not always monitoring them and saying, you have to speak in English. Just kind of cut it, you know, take a break, let the students figure it out. You know, they start to move from that meta-languaging to trans-languaging to code switching. You can achieve that when you kind of have these routines of collaborative effort through activities where students engaged in different levels, high-level students, low-level students support each other, right? When a high-level student teaches, they learn. When a low-level student gets taught by their peer, you know, with like, you know, good feelings between them, they also learn. You know, teachers can't always be doing this, especially in the language classroom. Yeah, so I'm finishing up. Task repetition. Do task over and over again. Okay, this is how you build that scaffold. And this is how, like, the first time you do something, it might take the entire period. But as the routines build, students know exactly what to do. Fishbowl discussions, you know, any of these collaborative dialogues that Burak Hocam talked about, you know, they start getting used to these things. We have to do task repetitions. And if you find something that works, stick with it. Pre-task planning, also what Burak Hocam talked about. Slow it down, think, pair, share. Let students have time before you make them do the task. Okay, and this allows them to kind of build those skills that they need in order to accomplish and achieve. Use students' prior knowledge or interest. Okay, I think this is what Elif Hocam talked about having students kind of choose their topics, things that they want to do in the classroom, give them the autonomy and also the ownership of their own classes. Use pictures, diagrams, graphic outlines to illustrate complex ideas. This is what Burak Hocam talked about using visuals in the classroom as well to help motivate our students so that you do less and they do more. Include technology. Okay, we have this all here with us. It's a good practice face-to-face using online technology so that when we get stuck back into the online world, we can still achieve our goals and still be good practice for us. And express ideas in more than one way. Okay, metaphors, examples. Think about introverted learners versus extroverted learners. Think about different learning styles that students need reinforcement when they're when they're learning something new and challenging, a high level learning process. Metaphors, that's one of the most important things. Analogies, metaphors. Okay, sorry. And then the last thing, sequencing. So I consider it a scaffolding still, but when you do tasks, build up from supported, controlled activities to less support, less control. Okay, so you might have some kind of ask students their opinions about certain things, one-on-one, or maybe individually. Next, you would have something like this let's take a stand thing, where students can kind of collaboratively ask each other their opinions. And then you do the last thing, a debate. Okay, and by sequencing this within a class, we can use that warm-up activity to really warm them up to the task. So I don't always do like an energizer for warm-ups. Sometimes I want them to reflect, because what they're going to be doing in the final, the final presentation activity will be something very reflective. Okay, it might be writing. So warming up doesn't always mean, get them super jazzed up. Sometimes it could just mean getting them into that right frame of mind. And that's it. I'm going to stop right there. We're not going to brainstorm. Thank you so much. I have not timed this properly. And your enthusiasm during the Miro, I think, just kind of caught me off guard. I'm going to end by saying these last implications. So check your biases. Just check your biases. Create participation systems to create equitable engagement in the classroom. You're welcome, everybody. Scaffold challenging activities to push students. Okay, you don't have to do this every day. I mean, once a week, once a month. Sequence activities to prepare students. Okay, focus on current progress and not on previous performance. Okay, so that growth mindset, even for students. Change your expectations of yourself as a teacher and your expectations of your students. So thank you very much. Just want to thank everybody for putting up with that. I'm going to tone that down. Maybe I just need an hour and a half always. And yeah, I didn't cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a great and fruitful session. And that's what everybody else is saying in the chat box as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So any questions, everyone?
Any questions? I'm tired. That was exhausting.
Yeah. I need to leave as well. I need to pick up my daughter from school. Then
I'm the host.
For another host, but you are the host anyway, yeah? So
you can go. But thank you so much. I want to thank Ege University's Professional Development Unit, everybody involved in this. I want to thank all the presenters who did an amazing job, especially connecting with this theme, the power of ownership. I want to thank all of you for coming for 2 days, participating, learning, sharing, and hopefully building this community of practice that we all need at this moment. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Sinem Hocam, can we take a quick picture, screenshot or something? Of the,
I'm going to do it
too. Hocam, my one of my closest friends is asking about the recordings. Well, I'll ask to school and I can share them with you individually, Sibel Hocam.
I'll stop recording now so we can take this picture. Okay. I'll stop recording. Thank you.
So hearts, everyone.
Recording stopped.
So who's taking the picture?
I'll take the picture. Okay. So everybody put your hearts up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There's a badoop. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. There you go. I'll send those out on the Google Classroom. So if you signed up, I'll post those on there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. I'll stay around if anybody wants to ask any questions. I have nothing to do in life at the moment.
Thank you. That
You're
was
welcome.
A wonderful session to finish up. I told you that we would love to finish our 2-day event with Bob the Great, and that was a great session, Bob.
Always,
thank you.
Always too kind. Thank you, Sinem Hocam.
Thank you. The same. Okay.
You're welcome.
So I need to leave everyone.
Okay.
Feel free to stay or whatsoever, but thank you anyway. So that was great.
Oh, I'm so tired. Okay. Well, you guys can go. If you have any questions, you want to stick around, I'll pontificate. Elaborate. Oh, I love doing presentations. It's so fun.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Yeah. This is like...
Yeah, I love participating in yours.
Great.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because it's very exciting.
And I like that people participated. They turned on their mics, you know, and that was like, because I didn't really see that in the other sessions so much, but I think there's something that happens with how frenetic. I think Miro makes you kind of like, it stimulates you.
You have the feeling of panic.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I'm just like trying to, what's it called? Corral cats that are just running around. I can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
People are drawing on the screens and everything.
Yeah.
That was great. No, I need to rework that a little bit more, but I'm surprised that I was able to do that because that used to be a face-to-face, like an hour and a half session. So, So I've never done that thing where people move and answer questions. I usually have them standing in a room, walk to one side, walk to the corner or something like that. So, and I wanted them to have a ownership of creating their own name tag. So, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was the best part, actually.
Was it? Okay. I mean, I think that's the part where it's like students being creative gives them an incentive, you know. They move that little piece around. They can be proud of what they make or write or create. And so, I like to try to do that in all my my presentations. So.
And it's a kind of interaction.
Yeah.
You see what other people doing, and you also listen to the teacher, etc. So
right.
When there is interaction, there's no boredom.
Right. And I think that there's like a lot of exploration that was happening, just like
definitely curiosity.
Right, curiosity. Yeah. People were not even looking at my screen; they were flying around. So I'll share all that materials with you guys on Google Classroom, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was wonderful.
Good idea. Right.
Okay.
Have a great day, you all.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.